Beautiful afternoon. Welcome to the World at Noon. I am Tim Tokwe Olajuwola, Presidential Screening Committee of the ruling party in Nigeria to submit reports today. 8 injured in knife attack by Nigerian man in Mumbai. Yes, to allow more flight routes to Cuba in latest restriction lift. 61 children died since start of Ukraine war. The Presidential Screening Committee of the All Progressives Congress (APC) in Nigeria will submit its reports to the National Working Committee of the ruling party today. The head of the screening committee and former national chairman of the party, Chief Don Odige Oyegu, disclosed this in Abuja. Report has it that the committee have completed the screening of 23 presidential aspirants ahead of its presidential primary election scheduled for June 6th and 7th. 12 aspirants were screened in the first batch of the exercise on Monday, while 11 hopefuls appeared before the committee on Tuesday at the Transcorp Hilton Hotel in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. There are indications that Nigeria may soon start experiencing more cargo diversions to neighboring West African ports, as well as increase in freight rates due to the collapse of both tin can and Apapa Quair aprons. In separate chats with newsmen in Lagos, experts said that shipping companies would now be scared to berth at the affected ports, resulting in the diversion of cargoes to West African ports or a possible increase in freight charges. A member of the Nigerian Association of Master Mariners, Adewale Shola, said the present condition of the Quair aprons portrayed danger for incoming vessels. Also speaking, an oil and gas analyst, Zaka Bala, said that the collapsing of the Quair aprons of the port spelled doom for Nigerian economy, noting that vessels would start moving away from Nigeria. The managing director of the Nigerian Ports Authority, Muhammad Bello Koko, had over the weekend raised the alarm that Tinkan Island port was collapsing, saying that more attention should be focused more on rehabilitating the Quair walls of the port. At least 8 persons were injured in a knife attack by a 50-year-old Nigerian national near Churchgate area of South Mumbai. Police said the incident took place at Tata Garden near Parsi Well in the evening, when a Nigerian identified as John pulled out a knife and attacked passers-by. It was gathered that the police were alerted about the incident, following which a team overpowered the man and disarmed him. As many as 8 persons were reportedly injured in the attack by the time of the police reached the scene and were later rushed to a state-run hospital for treatment. The official added that the accused has been taken to Azad Maidan police station in India, and an FIR will be registered in this regard. This is the World at Noon, coming to you from Osun State Broadcasting Corporation. Iliawiye Ukebale Oshogbo, Voice of the West. Now, amid news message. Support the government in all your endeavor. The administration of United States President Joe Biden has allowed more flight routes from the U.S. to Cuba, lifting restrictions put in place under former President Donald Trump. The restrictions lifted by the U.S. Transportation Department removed a ban on U.S. airlines and chartered flights flying to major cities outside of Havana, including Camagüey, Cayo Coco, Cayo Lago, Cienfuegos, Manzanillo, Montazas, and Santiago de Cuba. The Biden administration had announced last month a plan to lift a raft of restrictions imposed under Trump, who had sought to undo efforts by former President Barack Obama, under whom Biden served as vice president, to normalize relations between Washington and Havana in what was dubbed the Cuba Tour. Secretary of States Antony Blinken said the lifting of the flight restrictions was in support of the Cuban people and in the foreign policy interest of the United States. It remained unclear today if any commercial airline planned to fly to the newly allowed locations. India is considering whether to set up an appeals panel with a power to reverse the content moderation decisions of social media firms, the Information Technology Ministry said in what would be the first such move of its kind worldwide. The revelation came in a document seeking comments on plans to change to its rules that took effect last year and aimed to regulate social media content, making platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter more accountable. The document made public today proposed one or more such appeal panels. It sets a deadline of 30 days for appeals against decisions by company grievance officers, while the panels themselves get a further 30 days to take up the matter. Social media firms are already required to have an in-house grievance redressal officer and designate executives to coordinate with law enforcement officials. The Office of Ukraine's Prosecutor General has said 261 children have been killed and 460 injured since the start of the war. The office said on Twitter that the tally does not include places of active conflict, also registered over 15,000 crimes of aggression that could amount to war crimes. The head of the African Union, Senegalese President Macky Sall, will speak with President Vladimir Putin in the southwestern Russian city of Sochi tomorrow. The visit aimed at freeing up stocks of cereals and fertilizers, the blockage of which particularly affects African countries, was organized after an invitation by Putin. Sall will travel with the President of the African Union Commission. Here again are the highlights of the world at noon. The Presidential Screening Committee of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Nigeria will submit its reports to the National Working Committee of the ruling party today. At least 8 persons were injured in a knife attack by a 50-year-old Nigerian national near Churchgate area of South Mumbai. The administration of United States President Joe Biden has allowed more routes from the U.S. to Cuba, lifting restrictions put in place under former President Donald Trump. The Office of Ukraine's Prosecutor General has said 261 children have been killed and 460 injured since the start of the war. That was the World at Noon, edited by Temitope Olajuwola. News Talk by Adeni Ikende of our editorial desk writes on short and long-term effects of alcoholism on body chemistry of human being and the sociological effects on anybody that engages in alcoholism.
Alcoholism, according to Advanced Learners English Dictionary, is acromic disease caused by addiction to alcohol leading to a deteriorating in health and social functioning. An alcoholic person is someone that suffers from alcoholism. It is a distinct physical desire to consume alcohol beyond one's limits or capacity to control it, regardless of all rules and norms attached to it. Alcoholics are obsessed with alcohol and cannot control how much they consume, even if it is causing serious problems at home, work, and in all social strata. Newsor believes that moderate alcohol consumption will not generally cause any psychological or physical harm. For some individuals, social drinking should lead to heavier alcohol consumption, which sometimes cause serious health implications and psychological problems, as the case may be. It must be noted that the World Organization statistics says there are at least 140 million alcoholics in the world. Unfortunately, majority of them are not treated as required and difficult to heal. Newsor findings reveals that the signs of alcoholism and alcohol abuse are very similar and are just a question of degree or intensity. Newstalk also observed that the problems linked to alcohol dependence are extensive and do affect the person's physically, psychological, and socially. Drinking becomes a compulsion for a person with drinking problem. It takes precedence over all other activities. It can even remain undented for several years. Alcohol dependence is a gradual process which can take few years to several decades to become a problem to some very vulnerable people. Addiction can in a question of months. Eventually, and over time, regular alcohol consumption can distort the balance of the brain. It is disheartening that some categories of people or professionals will say that they cannot perform optimally on their jobs or vocation without taking alcohol. And what is so disturbing on the issue is the fact that underage people do get involved in serious alcohol consumption. Newstalk is of the opinion that underage drinking should not be a normal part of growing up. It is a serious and persistent public health problem that puts young folks and the communities at large in danger, even though drinking is considered glamorous. In some quarters, that the truth is that underage drinking can lead to poor academic performance, serious addiction, sexual assault, injury, and even deaths at times. To this end, young ones should not be encouraged under any social behavior and pressures from friends to engage in alcoholism. Newstalk maintains that activities of those that sells alcohol drinks at motor parks and various joints must be checkmated in order not to give commercial vehicle drivers the ample opportunity to drink excessively, most importantly, whenever they are behind the wheels. A switching time, 6:09.
That news talk chronicled the short and long-term effects of alcoholism on body chemistry of human being and also on the sociological effects on individuals that engaged in alcoholism as an habit. The piece written by Adeni Kende of our editorial desk was read by Olushola Egbodofo. For more stories, you can visit www